a lot of the hesitations managers had prior to the pandemic about whether or not workers can work efficiently at home, a lot of their hesitations have disappeared largely due to the fact that despite it being the pandemic, workers have been showing huge levels of productivity and efficiency during this period working from home, where actually they were able to carry out work even better than they were doing in the office in the midst of the pandemic. It has also changed the preferences of workers as well. Many workers found that they actually really enjoy working from home. And especially because there wasn't much of a stigma around working from home during this period, they would like to work from home in the longer future as well. So we expect that there will be, possibly not for all companies and not for all workers, but for many, real shift in the way we work from home or where we work, with many being able to work from home on a much more regular basis.
David Malpass at the World Bank said, and to me rather surprisingly, people are working too hard when they're working from home. Do your findings support that?
So even before the pandemic, what we see is that despite the popular belief that working from home is someone just kind of in their pajamas all day watching daytime TV, actually, people who work from home work longer hours, they work harder as well. And there's two reasons to that. One may be because, for many of us, commuting times take up to about 1 or 2 hours, even maybe up to 3 hours a day, some of which people give back to their employers by carrying out work during that time. Another thing is that, as I said, there's still a bit of a stigma, even internalized stigma about working from home. So when you are not really doing, a lot of work from home, you feel like, ooh, am I slacking off? And it's more evident than, for example, if you were to do the same thing in the office. So for example, checking Facebook in the office, people wouldn't think much of it. But if you do it at home, it really feels like you're slacking off.
Is there also, if it suits some professions more than others, is there also a sexual divide? Does working from home suit men more than women or women more than men?
Well, prior to the pandemic, we've seen that it was men that were gaining the access to working from home more than women. And this is largely due to the fact that, again, the assumptions behind workers and their capacity to work from home, because our societies are still kind of under this male breadwinner and female caregiver ideas. Employers thought that women, when they work from home, they don't really work from home, that they'll prioritize housework and childcare. That isn't necessarily the case, but that prohibited a lot of women from being able to work from home. During the pandemic, we've actually seen that there were more women working from home than men, again, because employers didn't have much of an option but to allow certain women work from home. And to be honest, providing women or any workers with care responsibility, the capacity to control when and where they work, can be incredibly beneficial for allowing them to take part in the labor market and take part in the labor market in a much more longer hours basis. And again, for example, address gender equality issue. Whether the pandemic has changed the views of managers going forward is something that we'll have to see.
Well, you talk about those outside the labour market. What about the unemployed? When the pandemic is over, are they going to be able to go back to work or work from home? They're going to have to learn new tricks?
One good thing is if companies decide that working from home is going to be the norm, and this is not just for like a day a week or 2 day a week kind of a gift, but it's as the norm that where workers can work possibly even 4 or 5 days at home, it really increases the opportunities, geographic opportunities for job search for many unemployed. And you need not necessarily be fixed to a location, which provides opportunities both for workers and employers in terms of where they could search for jobs. And I think that would be a really good positive impact.
Dr. Heejung Chung, many thanks for joining us on The Agenda.
Thank you for having me.